Did you know that some cities in the United States have crime rates so high that living or traveling there is incredibly risky? These cities are notorious for their spine chilling stories, dangerous streets, and crime filled histories. Let's look at the 10 cities ranked as the most dangerous in America. Number 1, St. Louis, Missouri Street. Louis stands as one of the deadliest cities in America, a place where walking down certain streets after dark could mean putting your life in danger. In North City, frequent drive-by shootings make locals feel trapped in their homes. Stories circulate about people getting robbed at gunpoint even during the day. Downtown, abandoned buildings and poorly lit streets give shelter to criminals. Police often face resistance from local gangs, making it difficult to curb the crime wave. Even local businesses close early, fearing for their safety. Tourists have reported unsettling experiences, with some facing harassment in broad daylight. Residents say that the sound of sirens has become part of their daily lives, an eerie lullaby echoing in the background. Number 2, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit has areas that feel like ghost towns, with crumbling buildings and vacant lots. These eerie neighborhoods often serve as hiding spots for criminals. In East Side, people live in constant fear as gunshots echo through the night. Local stores are fortified like military bunkers with bars on windows and heavy locks on doors. Stories of armed robberies and muggings are common, even in daylight. Gang territories are clearly marked, and even the police avoid certain blocks unless heavily armed. Some residents say they sleep with one eye open, ready for any noise outside. Stories of home invasions leave communities terrified, with people fearing for their family's safety. Some families even send their children to live with relatives in safer areas. Number 3, Memphis, Tennessee. In Memphis, the fear of becoming a victim is part of everyday life. Fraser is one such neighborhood where gang rivalries have led to countless violent incidents. People avoid looking at strangers, fearing it may provoke a confrontation. Hickory Hill is notorious for its nighttime danger, with residents hearing gunshots as if it's background noise. Stories of daylight shootings have made headlines, and people hesitate before stepping out. Even walking to the local store can feel like a dangerous mission. Small businesses struggle as customers fear becoming robbery victims. Parents warn their children to stay indoors as night falls. Residents speak of friends who lost their lives to gang-related violence, and the grief lingers in the community. Number 4, Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore's streets tell stories of a city plagued by crime and fear. In Sandtown, drug dealers and gangsters control the neighborhood. People are often caught in crossfire, with many losing their lives for simply being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Police sirens are almost constant, as are the sounds of ambulances rushing to scenes of violence. In West Baltimore, it's common for locals to witness drug transactions, even in broad daylight. Families often feel trapped, unable to afford moving to safer areas. Fearful of stray bullets, parents avoid letting children play outside. The shadows on these streets conceal a hidden world of violence and despair, while the locals continue to hope for safety. Number 5, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge has areas so plagued by crime that residents feel like prisoners in their own homes. South Downs is a neighborhood where murders and assaults are reported almost weekly. Drug dealers operate openly, and the smell of gunpowder often lingers in the air. Greenville Avenue sees cases of domestic violence and robberies regularly, leaving locals in a constant state of fear. Even the police face danger, often being targeted by local gangs. Residents have reported incidents where strangers attempt to break into their homes in the middle of the night. Those who can afford it keep guard dogs and security systems, but the fear of danger never fades. Tourists are warned to steer clear of these areas at night. Number 6, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland's crime wave has left many feeling hopeless. In Collinwood, robberies and assaults occur so often that locals walk in groups, hoping for safety in numbers. Union Miles residents frequently witness acts of violence, with the faint sound of gunfire echoing through the neighborhood at night. Some alleys and streets are practically off limits, as criminals often lay in wait to ambush unsuspecting victims. Police are spread thin and often help arrives too late. Stories of mugging attempts, especially in dimly lit areas, have become part of the daily conversations. Residents have installed iron bars on their doors and windows, hoping to deter intruders. Parents are constantly worried about their children's safety, even on their way to school. Number 7, New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans has a dark side hidden beneath its vibrant tourist culture. In Brownsville, residents report frequent carjackings and muggings. Tourists visiting St. Roch often find themselves lost in dangerous zones where criminals prey on those unfamiliar with the area. People have reported being followed, harassed, and even attacked for their belongings. Many areas lack adequate police presence, and locals warn each other about certain streets to avoid. Tales of terrifying encounters make the rounds among residents, with each story more unsettling than the last. Even taxi drivers avoid certain areas at night, knowing the risks all too well. Number 8, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee's north side has become a zone where fear dominates daily life. Stories of murder cases make the headlines regularly as gangs establish their presence on these streets. People frequently hear about armed break-ins and car thefts, which have left the community in shock. Even homes are no longer safe. Burglars target residents in broad daylight. Police patrols are often scarce, leaving citizens feeling abandoned. Small businesses face repeated burglaries, leading to heavy financial losses. Many residents are forced to move, fearing for their lives. Even the sight of strangers walking around creates panic, as they may turn out to be gang members. Number 9, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Albuquerque's streets are plagued with crime, leaving locals fearful of stepping outside. Central Avenue, notorious for gang-related shootings, remains a danger zone. Gun violence, drug deals, and gang confrontations have become so common that locals feel like they're living in a war zone. Some report hearing gunshots nightly, keeping them awake with worry. People speak of losing friends and family members to random acts of violence. The rise in carjackings has forced residents to secure their vehicles in every way possible. Even during the day, people avoid certain routes. Many parents fear for their children's lives as gang influence spreads into schools. Number 10, Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City has areas like West Bottoms and Blue Hills where crime is deeply rooted. Residents live in constant fear, knowing the city's darker side all too well. Frequent shootings, robberies, and drug-related incidents have tarnished the neighborhood's reputation. Some locals share stories of being held at gunpoint, even in their own driveways. Businesses have reinforced their properties, hoping to deter thieves and vandals. Many families have left, leaving entire streets abandoned. For those who remain, life feels like a never-ending struggle to stay safe. The police are spread thin, and their presence doesn't ease the residents' fears. These are America's cities where living or traveling is full of risks. If you ever plan to visit these cities, always stay aware of your surroundings and take safety precautions. The stories of fear and crime in these cities may attract some, but caution is essential when stepping into these streets.